This is English shorthand dictation number 218 and the dictation speed is 120 words per minute. Ready? Start. Honorable Chairman Sir, I think the Honorable Lady who moved the cut motion has forgotten what the view of the All India Women's Conference was on this subject. I should like to explain it to the House. The Government of India had taken certain steps with a view to close the employment of women underground. As the House will remember, the Government of India had laid down a decreasing proportion so that according to the program women would have ceased to work in coal mines. This was long before there was any talk about a convention. What was the attitude of the All India Women's Conference? I find that this matter was taken up for consideration by the All India Women's Conference in its session held 2 years ago. According to the report which I have in my hand, the All India Women's Conference set up a committee to consider this question, and I would like to read only two short sentences which contain the view of the All India Women's Conference about the action of the Government of India. The report first gives the advantages and then gives the disadvantages. Sir, it is true that when this matter was considered by the All India Women's Conference at their session held last year, they came to the conclusion that they would support the international convention which was passed, in spite of the fact that they saw grave objections to the course pursued by the Government of India. Now, sir, I claim that this view that the All India Women's Conference took up last year, which was so different from its view expressed 2 years ago, was due to the passing of the convention. I am sure that if the international convention had not been passed last year, the All India Women's Conference would have continued to agitate against the decision of the Government of India to eliminate women from coal mines. I do not want to say that there are any sinister motives for the change of front on the part of the All India Women's Conference in this matter, but I would like to say that I am not prepared to believe that within the 10 years that have elapsed there has been such a revolution in the moral and political conscience of the people of this country that they are not prepared to tolerate the action which will be annulled as soon as the emergency vanishes. Sir, I have been told that after all the number of women employed in coal mines is only 15,000 and that they have not been able to produce more coal. The question has been asked as to why we are keeping these women underground. There are three reasons for it. First of all, it has got to be realized that in the situation in which we are placed, the woman underground cannot be treated as a single unit by herself. She is a potential. The first consequence will be that if she leaves the coal mine, the coal cutter will also leave the coal mine, and there would be a further deterioration in the situation. The second consequence will be that if she does not work, there will be more absenteeism in the coal mines. Thirdly, there would be a further reduction in the number of coal cutters because some cutters will have to do the work of loaders, a work which women now do. As a matter of fact, the argument that has been sometimes urged that the women have not been able to produce more coal is not correct. As my honorable friend probably knows, Last year, the government of India imposed a cess on coal called the Coal Mines Welfare Cess. It was with regard to the administration of this coal fund that the Coal Mines Welfare Officer was appointed. The Coal Mines Welfare Fund is administered by a committee. The committee is constituted of equal representatives of employers, workers, and the state governments. The committee is chaired by the Secretary of the Labor Department. The committee is more or less an autonomous body. It has its own budget, which is prepared by the Coal Commissioner. It is submitted to the committee, and the Coal Mines Welfare Commissioner is the executive authority over this expenditure. All questions of welfare such as malaria, water supply, medicine, and other matters relating to coal welfare are considered by this committee. With regard to the question of the Labor Commissioner, I think my friend will know that all the state governments have got labor commissioners. Under them, they have their own conciliation officers and other officers looking after labor. It was felt in the government of India that as the government of India has also got certain undertakings for which it is responsible, it was desirable that the government of India should also have a similar organization under its control to look after the welfare of workers engaged in these central undertakings. Consequently, we have established this organization. At the head of the organization is an officer called the Chief Labor Commissioner with the Government of India. The rest of India is divided into 3 different areas, and for each area there will be one Deputy Labor Commissioner. I think my honorable friend would like to know that we have taken advantage of this new organization in order to amalgamate the work of central undertakings along with the work which was originally done by the conciliation officer of railways and the supervisor of railway labor. All this has now been amalgamated and centralized. The labor welfare officers who were working individually in different areas and were reporting directly to the Government of India will now be under these different labor commissioners. Similarly, the railway inspectors who were also working separately under the Railway Conciliation Officer and doing the work of checking up the Payment of Wages Act and the hours of labor are also now being brought under the new scheme, and we have made a consolidated scheme. With regard to the point relating to the Labor Investigation Committee, I think it will be recalled that last year, or rather the year before that, the Tripartite Labor Conference passed a resolution that the Government of India should undertake social security measures. It was felt that before any such scheme could be formulated, it would be necessary to have a fact-finding committee which would investigate all questions such as housing, wages, sanitary conditions, and other data affecting the welfare of the workers, and that after the facts were found by the committee, the Government of India should have another committee in order to formulate such social security measures as can be based upon the data that were found by this investigation committee. This investigation committee has now been working for nearly 6 or 7 months, and its report is promised sometime in June or July next. After the report is received, measures will be taken to constitute the second part of the inquiry, and these facts will be placed before them according to the decision of the Tripartite Conference. The second counterpart of this investigation committee would be a committee represented by employers, employees and members of state governments.